Morning everyone, and welcome to my day 3 of the 31 days of tarot. And today I'm sharing my top 5 oracle decks of 2016. Now for me, I think the idea here is what are the decks that you used or utilized the most during the year, because I will be honest, I have purchased a number of used oracle decks which I love, but I haven't had time to really delve in and give them the attention that they deserve yet. The second half of 2016 was so crazy busy, and yes, I'm really looking forward to taking my time and just having a little play around with them. So I'm not putting them on this video, but I will make another video just on the oracle decks that I purchased. So most of these you will know very, very well, but you know, this is the exercise. What did we use the most? What did we utilize and play with regularly? So first of all, this won't come as a surprise to you. And why did I put the fuck. Okay, if I can find them. Here we go. So again, it's not going to be any surprise to you, but the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck never ceases to amaze me. I just find that it delves right in, it takes you where you need to go. The book is comprehensive without dragging the chain, and you have a little healing process at the end of every card. Not only that, of course, the artwork is absolutely beautiful. And even though I've been using this deck for quite some time, I never find myself, you know, feeling tired of it, bored of it, seeing the same cards come up over and over. I literally don't. I do put this on my altar. I use it for clients. I use it for myself, you know, in actual tarot spreads. So I just think this is a perfect all-rounder. And again, I do like the comprehensive explanations that are provided. I think there are some days where you need quick, sharp, you know, one-word answers. And there are others where you just need to delve. You need more information to just round off your tarot spread. And this would be, you know, as far as that more in-depth explanation from the booklet, this would be certainly, you know, top 3 for me. So I really love that deck. The other one that I think will never be off my top 5 list is the messenger cards. Now there's no box with this, and I don't have the book on me right now, but you know this beauty. Oh my goodness, isn't it stunning? Now these are going to be all upside down and all over the place. I better watch what I'm doing here. But you know, there isn't one card in this deck that I think, I don't really like that artwork. Not one. It's so beautiful. And again, you get a decent amount of information, don't you, in the guidebook? But it's not long. So if you have only, you know, a minute or so at the end of a session with a client and you've got someone else waiting, this is the perfect deck. You can still give them a host of information without, you know, like with the Sacred Rebels, you can't do that if you've only got a minute and a half to go. I think every person that has come to my home has taken a photo of this deck when they draw a card, because they're just so drawn into the artwork and so blown away by its beauty. I really do believe that this is one deck that, yeah, it's just always going to be at the top. I think it's absolutely extraordinary. And it's certainly one, you know, when you look back on decks that you bought quite a while ago and you find yourself thinking, I am so, so glad I purchased this deck. Well, that's this one. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful messenger cards. And this is what really kind of spurred me on to go, because I love nature and I love animals and, you know, gorgeous little beings of nature. And, yeah, this was kind of, this deck got the ball rolling as far as picking up decks that have, that are sort of nature or animal focused for me. I don't want a whole pile of them, but yeah, I kind of got on the road of seeking others. And of course, this beauty came along. And I told you in day 2 that when I picked the Wild Unknown second edition up and felt the stock and looked at the artwork, I thought it was beautiful, and I couldn't decide which one, and then I ended up going with the Animal Spirit. And I thought, well, look, if I'm uncertain as to whether I want to use that artwork as a tarot deck in the Wild Unknown Tarot, well, how can I go wrong with this? It's absolutely beautiful. And you know what I love about this deck? You can almost use it as a tarot. I mean, I just find that not every oracle deck would you say, oh, I can do a 3-card spread or a 6-card spread. But with this one, you can. You can do whatever it is you choose with this deck, and it still makes sense. So I'm, yeah, literally blown away. And that's why I knew one day that I would end up with the Wild Unknown. But it was just more of a timing thing. I just wasn't sure. There was never an issue with regards to the artwork in the Wild Unknown Tarot as well as this. You know, it blew me away from the get-go. But I just wasn't sure whether I'd use the tarot. And now I can't kind of imagine not using it. Look at those colours. It's just so beautiful. So I'm in love with this deck very much, and I use it regularly. And again, you've got the book if you want, but if not, you've got the chart that gives you just a quick, you know, keyword explanation. If not, you can just go straight on your intuition as well and round up your spread very, very easily and quickly. This one here is Quirky and Gorgeous. This is the 72 name cards, and I use this deck a lot. And you know, it's a funny little deck. I got it because it was unique, it was different, it was out there, it was dreamy, and it's not a stock standard, you know, oracle that you see on a daily basis. And the artwork is so unique. And when I first opened it, I thought, what is going on here? It's so Piscean, dreamy, as I say, quirky, out there. But the book is fabulous. And you know what I like about this deck is, for me at least, if I say round off a spread and you draw, you know, maybe a messenger card or a Sacred Rebels, it is pertaining to your question or to the read. This deck works differently for me. If I ask a particular question, often this deck will say, no, love, you're on the wrong track here. We don't want to worry about that. This is what you need to attend to immediately. And I find that absolutely intriguing. It's like my mind asks a question, but my soul draws the card and says, this is what you've got to adhere to at this time. Get back to the other stuff later. So I find this deck so interesting and so much fun. I really love it, and I'm glad I purchased this deck. So aren't the colours beautiful as well? And here's the guidebook. It may be a little white book, but it's kind of a medium little white book. And when you draw the card, see, there's a reasonable amount of information, but you can still use this with clients if you're face to face, because it doesn't take too long to get through it. And it has perspective, direction, and bottom line. And that's often what I find, you know, the bottom line is the bottom line. This thing kicks ass and doesn't let you get away with anything and make excuses for yourself. So I really love it. So that's that. Now, another one that I purchased. This is one of my second-hand, or should I say used copies. This is the Moon Oracle that I found. I'm so pleased I did. By Caroline Smith and John Astrop. You know I'm a fan of theirs, and I was very lucky to find this deck. The book is quite comprehensive, filled with informazione and lots of goodies, so it's a wonderful to play around with. There's an interesting spread or two in the back of the book, but of course you can just go intuitively and invent your own spreads if you wish. The cards are really beautiful. We have the moon phases, so I have played around with this deck, and I find it again, I think it's worth the time doing the spread that they suggest and delving deep into this deck. This is not a deck that I use for clients and sit here for an hour discussing it. This is for myself, and I really love it. So there's the moon. Then we have the moon goddesses. Just a few examples. Again, I like the bright colours and the colour combinations. I like also, it's just the format of this deck is different because you're combining them all. And now we have the Moon Mansions, they're called. So these are numbered cards. And so when you stick to the formula and combine them all, you get a very in-depth and very fascinating result. And of course, you can work with the current moon cycles. And being an astrologer, that's why I just had to have this deck. So there you have it. That's the Moon Oracle. So they're my 5 that I think that I really did spend a great deal of time playing around with this year. And before I go, I'd like to just make a special mention for one beautiful deck that I received. At the risk of looking like, you know, a Crawley Bumlick kind of person, which I am not, I can assure you. But I have to make mention of the Awakened Soul Oracle. And that's because I have used it non-stop since I received it. I love it. I squealed my way through my deck reveal. And as much as my guess is that some people may think it was feigned, a little bit put on, a little bit forced, I guarantee you people, that was genuine. That just came from my heart, from my gut. And I think it's because not only was I really taken with the artwork, the colour palette really, really appeals to me, very much so. But it's just that it arrived in such a timely fashion, and it came at the end of a very challenging week for me. But not only that, a lot of the keywords were literally a part of my personal dialogue over that period of time. Things like that, truth coming up, judgment came up. Is that authenticity? Yeah, authenticity, things like that I could really relate to. Guidance, well, that was, yes, someone needing it. What's this one here? Silence. Like, honestly, I'm not joking, and that's why I couldn't believe it. There's another card here, like, that's what I needed. But adventure, I remember seeing that thinking, oh dear Lord, I was just talking about going on an adventure. It was incredible. So I couldn't have staged it better myself. It was just totally and utterly authentic, this whole journey with this deck as it came through and the type of messages that were coming through. I do love the way the book is written. Again, this is one of those decks where you can use this at the end of a read, whether you're face-to-face or not, and you have time to give your client a decent amount of information, but it doesn't go on, you know, like the really long, in-depth guidebooks like the Sacred Rebels. So this one, I was just, oh, I love orangutans. Like, I can't begin to tell you. So it just breaks my heart the way they are treated in certain parts of the world. It absolutely cuts me into pieces. So I could have cried when I saw that card, man. So I'm just saying that this deck is coming as a special mention because I have used it constantly. Ever since I received it, and when I went away on my vacation recently, it is one of the 4 decks that I brought with me. So that's why I still don't know whether I'm articulating properly here when I try to share with you how I feel about this artwork. There is a certain innocence when I look into the eyes, yet there's so much meaning behind it. And I said before, it's like there's a simplicity that makes it easy to delve in and gain clarity. But that doesn't mean it's basic. There's a big, big difference between the two. It's like it's easy to understand, it's easy to grasp, but there's still a lot going on. And I just feel that the way Ethany and Danielle combined their talents with the guidebook, which has quite a lot of wisdom to me, and this artwork, it just really calls to me. And it wasn't long before, oh, I don't know, was it a couple of months? I can't remember. I think it was an extension of this, and I've got an unboxing of this. I saw this in a, you know, metaphysical shop, and I just couldn't get over because I grew up by the sea, what really spoke to me were the beautiful colours. Look at the backs. But even though this is quite, you'd say this artwork is simple, you know, in its delivery, if you want to call it that, but almost, you know, animated, if you want to, I don't know how to describe it really. I'm starting to get tongue-tied, but there was something about the colours and, yeah, just this, like, I really love that. Anyway, to cut a long story short, the point is, I got to the counter and turned the box over and realised this is actually for children. And I thought, no wonder the style of artwork is as it is. But I bought it anyway, and I love this little deck because I thought, look, I'll give it to my niece. It's certainly not going to be a waste. But I think I'm going to get Chip Richards', you know, version for adults before I give this on, because I just love the messages. So it is written for maybe teens, but there's still, you know, when I pick a card, I know that, you know, the message is very poignant for me. And I think, again, it must have come at a time where my inner child really needed some nurturing. So this is like the adult version of this. It still nurtures my inner child, but it certainly isn't childlike. I don't know how else to say it, but you know, I can only reiterate that I've been using this full steam ahead since I received it, and I love it. So I'm very, very happy that I backed this beautiful deck, and I know it's going to be with me for a long, long time. So that's why it would have been in my top 5 if I had received it earlier, but the whole idea is to share what you used during 2016. And this came, you know, towards the end of the year. So that's that, people. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye for now.